Breaking news, something is brewing inside the Liberal Party of Canada, and it's not just public discontent this time. What was once quiet frustration has evolved into serious concern, not from pundits, not from the opposition, but from within the party's own ranks. On the surface, Prime Minister Mark Carney still looks like the composed global statesman, camera-ready, handshake-hardened, fluent in diplomacy and economic jargon. But behind the curtain, the image is fraying. The whispers have turned into conversations. And now, Liberal MPs are openly discussing something that would have been unthinkable even a year ago, triggering a leadership review. And this isn't just political gossip, it's grounded in real parliamentary tools. Under the Reform Act, a majority of Liberal MPs could call for a formal review of Carney's leadership if they feel the party is heading off a cliff. And increasingly, many feel exactly that. The Carney experiment, they say, isn't working. He was supposed to be the steady hand after years of political turbulence, a disciplined technocrat who could modernize the party and broaden its appeal. Instead, what many see is a leader who is cautious when boldness is needed, vague when clarity is demanded, and disconnected at a time when engagement is critical. Internally, the signs are everywhere. Cabinet ministers are increasingly guarded. Caucus meetings are reportedly tense. Regional organizers in once safe Liberal areas are warning of a drop in enthusiasm. And after barely scraping through the last election, losing long-held ridings and nearly losing more, the cracks are widening. What's driving this shift? Start with the basics, direction, or the lack of it. On major issues like housing, energy, affordability, and national security, the government has been accused of drifting, offering more consultations than decisions, more talking points than plans. On housing, Canadians are waiting for real relief while the government circles around bureaucratic frameworks. On energy, there's mounting frustration in provinces like Alberta and Saskatchewan, where federal policies feel more like punishment than partnership. Then there's the budget, or more precisely, the shadow budget. Over $30 billion in federal spending was recently authorized without full parliamentary oversight. That has alarmed even Liberal backbenchers. It's not just the size, it's the silence. Few MPs were briefed. Fewer were consulted. And nearly all are now asking, who's really steering the ship? Even Carney's foreign policy has drawn fire, not for what he's done, but for what he hasn't. A diplomatic incident involving Canadian officials and the Israeli government triggered only a vague promise of an internal review. At a time when global clarity and Canadian sovereignty should be front and center, the response was muted, cautious, almost hesitant. And therein lies the problem. Carney may be the most credentialed Prime Minister Canada's ever had, but credentials don't win elections, connection does. And many in his party feel that's exactly what's missing. He didn't campaign through a leadership race. He didn't fight to build the party's trust, he inherited it. And now, as public dissatisfaction rises and internal unity falters, that borrowed authority is wearing thin. Provincial leaders aren't holding back either. In Alberta, Danielle Smith continues to hammer Ottawa on energy. In Ontario, Doug Ford has found easy ground criticizing federal overreach. Yet Ottawa's responses under Carney feel reactive, never proactive, never forceful. It's as if the government is waiting to be told what to do, rather than setting the tone itself. Within Liberal ranks, the concern is now turning to political survival. In Atlantic Canada, MPs see growing dissatisfaction with the party's economic record. In Quebec, the Bloc is regaining ground. In urban Ontario, where the Liberals once dominated, cost of living pressures are making even the most loyal voters reconsider. This isn't about ambition or backroom scheming. It's about the fear of going into the next election without a leader who can win. And many MPs are starting to wonder if staying quiet is more dangerous than speaking up. The Reform Act exists for exactly this kind of moment. When leadership is in question, when confidence is eroding, when waiting becomes a bigger risk than acting, that's when MPs can take action. And while no official challenge has been launched yet, the signs are clear, the conversation is real. The pressure is building. The irony. Carney was meant to be the Liberals' answer to chaos. But under his leadership, clarity has become elusive, morale is slipping, and momentum is fading. What began as a promise to restore competence is now being judged as a failure to inspire. If things don't change fast, Mark Carney might not be brought down by conservative attack ads or opposition motions. He could be brought down by his own MPs, the people who were once his strongest allies. Because in Canadian politics, trust isn't inherited. It's built, one hard conversation at a time. And right now, the Liberal Party is having one of those conversations. Thanks for sticking with us. If this story struck a chord, hit like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more political deep dives and real talk, no fluff, no spin. This is Maple Flash.